Meeting call to order. Can I have roll call?
Dr. Robinson? Here. Mr. West?
Here.
Dr. Buck? Here. Mrs. Ware? Here. Mr. James?
Here, everybody present. Adoption of the agenda. If there's any changes need to be made before we adopt the agenda?
Yeah, I want to move under action items 8.1, A, B,
Is
and
there any?
A, 8.1, A and B to executive session.
You gonna need,
Huh?
you probably gonna need C and B too, cause all that together.
Child nutrition.
Yeah, that's personnel.
That's for
You just wanna move all of A, B, C.
Okay, that's fine, that's fine.
Okay.
I was saying child nutrition, I just had a couple of questions regarding that.
Okay, so can I get a motion to, put that in?
Yeah,
Okay.
that was all right.
Second.
It's been moving second, all in favor? Now it passes 5-0. Okay. Public comment, do we have any?
No, sir.
Okay, no public comment. Recognition and presentation. Item 5, do we have any other?
No, sir.
None of those, okay.
We did all that last week at y'all. That's the whole request.
Oh, okay. Approval of minutes from May 16, 2023, special call minute. Approval of May 16 regular meeting minutes. Approval of May 23rd, 2023 special call meeting. And approval of June 6, 2023 special call meeting minutes. Can I get approval? Second, all in favor? Aye, it passes 5-0. Okay, approval, anything consent item that need to be discussed, if not, we get approved.
I will make a special comment, James, to allow me to please, on item 7.15 and 7.16. We did meet today with Mr. Floyd and, one or two people from his group, along with, all of our athletic, folks, and we did, I think we got something that would be workable. So as of right now, we are looking at the, with the exception of the insurance, we're supposed to send that to us tomorrow by 12 o'clock. So we're looking at having this event on Saturday and Sunday here, in our stadium. This is the second time we've had it, and I guess that's why the meeting, with the meeting we had, we decent today because we did this one time before. So we were kind of agreeing with the lay of the land.
When are these dates?
Saturday and Sunday.
This Saturday? Because Coach Floyd is, I would want to come out and see him. He's phenomenal.
You know what, you know?
When I was there, I don't
Oh, okay, yeah.
He came there.
Let me ask you this, brother, were we able to secure any kind of emergency vehicle or medical vehicle to be there?
To answer your question, yes, I'm on the hospital board with the guy who used to own Metro Ambulance Service. I called him, he called me back in about 15 minutes to say that they would have the emergency vehicle here. Matter of fact, they would set up a tent and pass out hydrated drinks.
Thank you very much. It's good to know people in good, powerful places. Like Mr. Butcher.
You have good common sense. And work with people. He called back and said that's gonna be a go. Also, 7.16, that's Coach Moore. I think there was a situation whereby this young lady was one of the stars of the LSU team. Her grandparents still stay here. Her mother and father both are alumnus of Natchez High School. So we're trying to get everything fine-tuned, but I was kind of excited to even have her, someone of that caliber want to come back and contribute something here. So that's a go also.
Okay.
I'll offer a motion that we approve.
Oh, wait. Something item.
Right.
I was looking for the 2023-2024 handbook. So even if we approve that today, we can go back because we were looking at revising that social media policy.
Yeah, we can always go back and, you can always go back and revise anything.
Okay. I just was making sure we could, once we approve it.
That should be in our last.
Yes. But I'll offer a motion we approve the consent item.
Second.
It's been moved and second, all in favor? Aye, it passes 5. 0. Okay, approval of action item is 8.2.
Good evening, Mr. James, members of the board, Mr. Butcher, Ms. McDonald Green. Included within your board binder are the made claim. I'm Carmen Stewart, I'm sorry. I'm sure everyone knows me. But I'm Carmen Stewart, filling in on behalf of Mr. Bird, who's out of town. Within your board binders are the May claims docket and the May financial report. If there are no questions, it is the recommendation of Mr. Butcher and the business department that the board approve the May claim dockets and accept the May financial report as presented.
I so move.
Moving second, all in favor? Aye. Passes.
And some of us did recognize that you're not Mr. Bird.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr.
All right. 8.3.
That's what we just did.
8,
Oh, no, 8.3, resolution, okay.
approve a resolution for Mr. Butcher.
Is that the same?
Yeah,
Mr.
we
Mayor.
have to officially do it.
Right, we have
Okay.
yeah, each some of the resolution that we
Okay.
made at the convocation.
Yes. All right.
Yeah, we like that.
accept the approval of the resolution, Mr. Fred P. Butcher.
I second.
Okay, it's been moving second, all in favor?
Aye.
It passes 5-0.
Thank you so very much.
We had to make up some things to make it good.
I understand that. That's, hey, you like one to
Okay. It's okay at this time. I'm gonna bag up. Right. Mr. Mayor,
Yes, sir,
I
Mr.
want
James.
to acknowledge you at this time.
Thank you so much.
Come on.
It's good to be here. Top of the afternoon to all of you. I have something here that I just wanted to come and take care of.
All right.
And this may come as a surprise to a certain young man who has surprised us with the announcement that he is retiring.
Okay.
And I was very sorry I was not at that meeting when it was announced. But the city of Natchez could not exist without a good relationship with this school board and with this district. And from the very day I became mayor, your superintendent, Mr. Fred Butcher, has made that relationship easy. I've enjoyed working with him, and I've enjoyed working also with all of you during a time that has been challenging, but together we have, I think, accomplished much. I will never forget being in here when the announcement came that the schools had now achieved a B rating. I will never forget various phone calls I've received along the time from Mr. Butcher giving me good news. And I will never forget being there to break ground on the new high school, and I can't wait to be there when the ribbon is cut on that beautiful facility. So I have a presentation to make. And when I make these presentations, I actually consider it a very personal thing. And Mayor West, you'll know what I mean. It's real special as a mayor to be able to give someone a key to the city. And I'm here today to present a key to the city to Mr. Fred Butcher.
Oh, wait, I don't know if we
Now, Mr. Butcher, I have to read this because I take a lot of time in these so that I don't miss any details. And I actually did a little research, and I want to thank Ms. McDonald for helping me on the slide. And I also want to thank the Natchez Democrat and Google. Presented to Fred T. Butcher, key to the city. Mr. Butcher, Superintendent, Natchez-Adams School District. In recognition and appreciation of his service to the families of Natchez-Adams County, we are pleased to honor Mr. Fred T. Butcher. His service and leadership leave a profound mark on our community, and for his visionary stewardship of our public schools and the students they serve, we have been blessed. Mr. Butcher was born in Clayton, Louisiana. Over 53 years ago, he married the love of his life, Elaine Williams. They were blessed with 2 daughters, Brandy and Lisa, and 1 grandson, Sloan.
You did this research.
I did. A product of the public schools, Mr. Butcher received his bachelor's degree from Southern University in Baton Rouge and his master's degree from Tuskegee Institute in Alabama. Am I getting this right so far?
You're right.
All right. From an early age, he knew education was his calling. He taught science and served as principal of Faraday High School for 24 years. He later served as Natchez High School athletic director from 2008 to 2013, and then Natchez High School principal through May of 2014. After his retirement from that position, Mr. Butcher was called upon to serve as interim superintendent, a temporary assignment that ended up lasting 7 years. During this time, he led through extremely challenging times, including a national pandemic. He now leaves the district much better than he found it. State ratings have gone from F to B, and the new Natchez High School, Mississippi's newest, most state-of-the-art high school, will open this fall. According to a letter written by his daughters for the celebration of his retirement, his career in education has spanned a total of 53 years, or 636 months, 2,763 weeks, 19,375 days, and 464,280 hours. Now that's some math. Mr. Butcher has certainly earned his retirement. Now therefore, my capacity as mayor of Natchez, and on behalf of our city and board of aldermen, it is my pleasure to present to Mr. Fred T. Butcher this key to the city.
I want to also thank the mayor and all the board of aldermen. I also would like to thank each of you and my family for being patient with me for working for 60-some years. So, you know, my daughter's always on my case. My youngest daughter, the one who did the numbers in there, she always said, Dad, you told me go on Dave and get out so you can retire. I've worked for 20 years now and you still haven't retired, so now I'm retiring. Thank you so very much.
Thank you for all you've done. Thank you so much, Mr. President. Thank you, members of the board, for your service to our community. Thank you, Mr. King. Good to see you.
All right.
Mr. Mayor, I just noticed, Mr. Mayor Gibson, I didn't know you wore boots. Okay, I'm just teasing.
You know, hey, we'll have to talk. Mr.
Okay.
West, I have a feeling you might know somebody that can turn me on some new boots. These are getting kind of worn out.
I'm gonna find your horse.
I actually got a hole in them.
Yeah, okay.
Thank
Just
you.
teasing.
It's always good to see you, Mayor. Bye, everyone. Thank you.
And just aside, Mr. Butcher's daughter, Lisa, was able to join us, so I just wanted to add her so that Mr. Butcher could see.
Good.
Congratulations, Daddy. Hello, everyone.
Thank you.
Mama's listening.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for letting us borrow your dad. Bye, everyone. Thank you.
Put it here.
No.
Appreciate you. Okay. All right, now we'll go back to 8.4.
Yes, thank you. Good afternoon, Mr. James, members of the board, Mr. Butcher, Ms. McGowan. Agenda item 8.4 is a request to open bids for instructional support and principal coaching. After opening the bids, we are also requesting approval to review and take all proposals under consideration for selection. So what we do is this, like we've done in the past, open the bid, announce who the vendors are, and Ms. Young is recording everything for us, and then we'll come back and report.
Ms. Young.
Delana, she's listening to record everything.
Oh, I see.
Yes, sir. So we can have check and balance.
Right, I understand. I just didn't see her.
It's holiday.
Okay. Okay, this is Kids First for instructional support services. This is Tutor Fly, Lance Smith for instructional support services. Daily Educational Services for instructional support services. Say that again. Ms. Mark.
Repeat.
The name? LE Educational Services. Bailey Instructional Support Services. Oh, Common Sense Solutions for Educators, Instructional Support Services. Like Year Alpha Theta, MU Alpha Theta Consultant. Wait a minute. This say for professional, okay. Instructional support services. Green Educational Services for principal coaching services. Bailey for instructional support services. Kids First for principal coaching. Transformative Consultant for principal coaching. Bailey for leadership and principal coaching. If Then Solutions for principal coaching. Green Education Services for, must be for instructional coaching. Okay. Bailey for leadership and principal coaching. Lavinia, Lavina, group for principal coaching. Lavinia Group for instructional support services. Compass Advantage for principal coaching. Climbing Higher Heights for instructional support services. That concludes the opening of bids for curriculum. And as I stated earlier, we would ask that you allow us to take and review all the bids for consideration and come back before you with our choice. Thank you.
I want to have a request before we
Okay.
do that. Could we get, or could I get, I don't know if anybody else would want it, a listing of all of those persons who submitted the bid, and a listing also on the opposite side of all of those groups that contracted with the district in the last year or so.
Yes.
See what I'm saying?
Yes.
I'd like to see which ones are new, which ones are not new, which ones worked with us last year, and which ones are proposing to work with us this year.
Yes, sir.
And I would like to come down.
Yes, yes, ma'am. I mean, all y'all.
I'll offer a motion, we could take the bids under advisement.
Second.
It's been moved and second, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay. H wants 5. Another special. Okay.
Good afternoon, Mr. Jones, members of the board, individuals, back on the screen. I'm requesting to open bids for 23-24 professional, contractual and instructional services for exceptional service department. Then Mrs. Hannah will be recording for the record.
No. We talked to her later after this next question. Now go to session.
We have Bridget Moore for language speech pathology. Rosemount Consultant for educational, contractual, and professional development. Fluency Plus. Behavior. The Bailey Educational Group, Professional Development. Bailey Educational Group again for contractual services. And that's all. So I'm asking that you can go and review the bids and come back to you all a recommendation to take under consideration.
So moved.
Second.
Moving second, all in favor?
Thank you.
5-0. Thank you. 8.6.
Good evening. Mr. James, board members, Mr. Butcher, Ms. McDonald Green. So today, before you don't bring in the Stop It app, give you a little background. So Stop It empowers students with an easy app to safely, and it says anonymously, but we changed it to confidentially because, if certain things happen, it goes from being anonymous to actually making contact with those individuals or people and, going from there, doing what we need to do. So, report anything of concern to school officials, from cyberbullying to threats of violence or self-harm. Stop It empowers students to stand up for themselves and others while giving our schools the insight we need to keep students safe. With Stop It, students can submit, again I say confidentially, reports containing text, photos, or video, and you can see them in all forms. Administrators are then able to manage incidents and background management system called Document It. Document It provides efficient and powerful investigative tools to our staff, including the ability to message with the reporter, which will allow us to address issues instantly. For the past, I think 2 years, since 2021, MDE has paid for Stop It for the entire state. So now what they're doing is pushing that responsibility upon the districts to see if you all want to continue to have it. For us, we have used it a lot throughout. It's been both good and bad, being honest. But it is the superintendent's recommendation that the school board approve the request for our district to incur the cost for the Stop It program.
What is the cost?
I think it's $4,200. $4,242.
How many people registered for it?
So the entire district, all students are able to use Stop It. You just download the app.
So did they actually download the app when we
Yes, ma'am.
weren't paying?
Early on, we used it a whole lot. All the time we was getting things. Last year, it kind of slacked up, but it was talking to Ms. McDonald Green and other administrators. We really wasn't pushing it out there like we was at first, but initially we received a lot of good things. Found out people threatening self-harm, even stuff going on within the community that really may not directly affect the district, but it could. So it's definitely something that's good.
Ms. Montgomery, do we have a plan to, if we have purchased it, to push it
Yes,
a little hard,
We'll make
because if
sure.
it worked, but we need to make people more aware of it.
Yes,
And
ma'am.
that needs to be what we need to do along with,
Making sure it's a part of our registration process and our orientations, on the campuses, and also putting up, informational, flyers and so forth around our schools, so students are aware. In the construction, it was more so, we had more reports on the middle and high school level, and with all the construction and so forth that was going on, not having it, informational, flyers out there. So we'll make certain that they are posted in physical places throughout the schools.
And who all will be able to use it?
All students are able to report. Anyone who has the app is able to report. Administrators, Officer Davis, district leaderships, they have access, and counselors have access to the Stop It app. So when the report comes through, depending on the priority level, it goes to certain people. So if it's a social emotional situation, it goes to counselors. If it's something that administrators need to be aware of, it goes to administrators. It's really good, even if it's a serious threat. The Stop It app actually places calls to district contact persons, so that we are aware that this is a possible, serious threat.
or how many other, districts have adopted it and paying for it?
Not certain of that, because we just received the notice
Right.
this year,
Okay.
within the last month.
Is the $4,200, is that an annual fee, monthly fee, or what?
It's an annual thing.
So each year's,
Yes, sir.
Which, I did look into two other, apps of the same sort, and this is the cheaper one. So,
Yeah, I've seen some other apps that are $5,000-$10,000.
right, ACCS actually uses another app, and just for the amount of students that they have, it's right at $5,000, and we have, of course, way more for a cheaper price.
And I do know there were two referrals that I can remember that we referred it right to the social worker, Ms. Green, and she immediately found some help for the students. And it's 4,200 might sound like a lot, but we can save just one child, 4,200 be worth it.
Yeah.
There's been a lot of time we saved a lot of students as far as stopping a lot of things that could have happened. Because a lot of times kids will tell things, but they don't want to be viewed as the snitch. So they can do it, anonymously or confidentially. We find out a lot of things like that.
So the key is during the registration process is to sit down with them, or you can do it during orientation, where they can register for it during registration, and then expand upon it during orientation. But I think it's a need.
So moved.
second.
Moving and second, all in favor? Yeah, Alderman Frazier,
Yes.
anything, we just want to acknowledge you at this time, elected official.
I'm just here looking and see what's in store for the next school year. That's all.
Okay,
Thank you.
all right, thank you for coming. All right,
I would just like to say, we just all need to work together, that's all.
that's it.
And I think everybody in here is doing an excellent job for what we got and what we're working with. And it's about the kids, it ain't about us, it's about the kids.
Thank you. All right, 8.7. 8.4.
What are you on? I
Yes, I am.
Okay,
Good afternoon, President James, members of the board, Mr. Butcher, Mr. McDonald-Green, Mr. Kingley. Action item 8.7 is the Office of Operations, a request to approve the purchase of petroleum equipment from Holdings LLC for a diesel pump and a gasoline pump. The operations office received 2 bids to replace the diesel and the gasoline pumps that are inoperable and no longer able to find parts for, from Petron LLC for $21,557.91, and from Petroleum Equipment Holdings LLC for $19,773.85. The proposal calls for the vendor to remove and install the 2 pumps at the NSC's pump terminal site. Therefore, the Office of Operations requests that Petroleum Equipment Holdings, who has the lowest quote, be approved to receive the contract. It is the superintendent's recommendation to accept the quote submitted by Petroleum Equipment Holdings for $19,773.85 as a permanent solution to NASD's gasoline and diesel pump problem. Any questions?
What, is this an annual lease?
No, sir, what happened was that, the pumps that we have over there now, where we pump the gas out for our vehicles,
Right.
pumps are so old, they can't find parts for them. So as a result, I think the one that with the diesel went out on us first, we came out, matter of fact, we had to go charge diesel somewhere else for a while, so we asked Mr. Ford to secure some quotes so we could just replace both of them.
Okay.
So we'll be out of this business because, if we can't get pump diesel to the buses, we're in big trouble.
Right.
So as a result, we just decided to go ahead on and take those quotes and replace both of these. So as a result, hopefully.
They belong to us.
Right, that's right. And I want the record to show that it was an emergency situation due to the fact that we were not able to fill our bus stuff. So that made it an emergency situation because it was during the time school was going on.
So moved.
Move.
I'll second the motion.
Second, all in favor?
Second.
Okay.
We'll go on to us.
Okay. Administrative report, update, views, and information, 8.8.
Mr. James, remember the board, Mr. Butler is on the train, so we won't have that report.
Okay.
But if any information that you might need or want to give us, let us know, we'll make sure we get it to you, okay?
With that,
Here's the overview of the book.
okay. Item number 9.1. What she gone? Huh?
Yeah, that's what
It was 8.8, yeah, so good there. 9.2, the board calendar, anything need to be added or taken off the board calendar, given Ms. Davis for board members. 9.3, superintendent update.
Okay, Mr. James, the members of the board for the superintendent update, we have a number of things. The board was gracious enough to allow us to, put on a coordinator to coordinate all of our PTAs last year. I'm happy to report to you that all of our PTAs have been approved and licensed by the state. She also made a suggestion that, Mr. West paid for a luncheon for all the PTA officers. And that did happen, just to say thank you to the PTA officers, because it's a job to be a PTA member,
Can I do my lobbying for vote no?
But we did have a lunch for all 20 some of those officers along with some prizes and those kind of things. I think that worked out real well. So we are also recommending that we bring that person back next year. I think that for the most part, all the PTAs did a 360 with the exception of one. We had a conversation today, so we're gonna work a little bit harder with that one. So that PTA can at least do a 180 for the next time around.
And let me just add to what the superintendent just said, having been involved in the PTA in some years past, it's always been a struggle to get people to participate in PTAs, especially when you get higher grades, that kind of thing. And I think it's real good that we've had, say, 95%, evidently about 95% participation this year as a result of the hard work of Ms. Mars. And of course, we want to thank Mr. Bridget for bringing it out here to us. It's worked out really well, I think. So do we need to?
No, it's just information.
Just information.
Yeah. Also, we are going to, I talked to Ms. McDonald, I had a meeting with Mr. Gonzalez this morning. So hopefully somewhere around about the middle of July, we should have all the documents necessary in order for the AC project at Morgantown and McLaurin to go out for bid. And you asked us to also look at the bathrooms, and it will be also in the bid package as alternates to redo those bathrooms at those schools as well. So we are hoping that sometimes about maybe a little bit before the August meeting, maybe at the August meeting, that we should be able to accept those bids. And if you notice, even we accept the bids, they're like I think a 60-day period for the notice to proceed and all those kind of things. So we probably talking about sometime in the winter months before we actually, get started on that project. You know, these are the money that's coming from ESSA, and we don't want the lawmakers to pass a bill saying that, hey, if you ever spent your money, you need to send it back to DC.
Right.
We also, had an extensive meeting with Mr. Gonzalez today. We wanna look at somewhere during that week of July the 10th as the ribbon cutting ceremony, because as you know, school starts on August 1st. So the 10th, that's a close window there and everything. So we wanna look at that, and if let the board go and authorize Mr. Fields to start getting his invitation pulled together. And I've learned with this contract, you know, you got to say what you want and work toward that. And right now, we're gonna try to make sure that July 10th is carved in stone. Either they gonna carve it or even we gonna have to carve it.
Okay, what is the 10th on? I mean,
It's a Monday.
It's the week of that 10th, anytime during that week.
okay, we're talking about a range, because
Right.
the board needs to discuss the specific date.
Right.
At the same time, I think it's gonna be important, at least I'd like to go over and look sometime in the not so distant future to make sure that, you know, all of the i's have been dotted and all the t's have been crossed.
You don't need to check behind me.
Well, you know, we've had such a moving date for the last 6, 7, 8 months.
Oh, yeah.
And of course, the landscaping and all of that needs to be done. And I'm not saying it has to be perfect, but it needs to be something that we can, when we cut the ribbon, that we, you know, it'll be ready for visitation and dissipation and orientation and all those
And that
kinds of
next
things.
week, Mr. Butcher, is, the school board conference, that 17th and 18th. So if we have to push it back, we can push back further.
Yeah, we're gonna push on the 10 now.
Okay.
I can assure you, everything should be in place for curtains for the stage. We're in the process now, it wasn't part of the bid package, so we're in the process of taking bids for curtains for the stage right now. That'll be somewhere between $75,000 and $85,000. The landscapers should be starting sometime pretty soon. Tomorrow, if they can find, if Mr. Davis was successful in finding his part for me today, with one of our local vendors, they should do the frog market should be in to do his second initial walkthrough, and then after that, you know, and we should be good to go for a little while. But I think we're trying to get to the point where right now whereby we can have a substantial certificate of completion, you know, just about there and that kind of thing.
Okay, another thing is, and I know I shared this with a few people, we had suggested, at least I had suggested that we do it on a Saturday as opposed to, and I think you said the 10th is on a Monday, but you said there's a range.
That's just the one that we can work with.
Right, so I'm suggesting because of a couple of people who will be our guests who have committed to being here, and I think the best way to secure their presence would be to have it on Saturday.
That's just the one, you know, give Mr. Fields and y'all work it out in any way that you want to work it out. Yeah.
Have the plexiglass been put over at the middle school?
The truck was over there today. I won't sit here and lie to you, but I did see the truck over there today when I was making my 9 o'clock round.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just wanted to check to see if they put that in.
Yeah. There was a Jeffco Fence Company. You know, we had to go back and make some adjustments to those doors so kids won't be able to stick their hand in there and open it. But now they all did, and even if they weren't, I know I saw the truck today, but also they had to come back and put the gate. That's your project. Tell us about it, okay?
So they did get the PO maybe 2 weeks ago to go ahead and add that piece in to keep people from sticking their hand behind the thing to push it open on that access control gate. They did have to replace some of those other gates to be access control. So that was gonna be the first thing that they worked on. And as far as the other gates too, that's gonna be our entrance and exit gates for our frontage road, the main entrance, and in the circle. We still working on that.
So all the other gates around needed the plexiglass too.
Right. Well, anywhere where it's access controlling, we want to put that to keep people from just, because as of right now, you know, you can stick your hand.
They showed me how, you know, you stick it in, it says open the gate and come in.
Right, so if they were there today, when I rode over there, I did not see them, that was early. So, if they were over there, that's what they should have been working on first, and everything else gonna fall off of it. As far as the date for McLaurin, I talked to, his name is Greg Bowell this morning, and he was supposed to text me a date about that, but, I mean, it's been like pulling teeth, because I want to start that in June, early June, and we had this. So.
And I did McLaurin off with the elementary school, we'll have just one single point for every, for each, you know.
I know, I think it was, I would like to go back, I think it was, what, 3 weeks ago, a month ago that we were over there, a couple of months over there?
Yeah, a month ago.
Yeah, about a month or so. So at some point, I'd like to, myself, I don't know if anybody else would, would like to go and see where we are versus where we were a month or so ago.
So just give us a call. Thursday won't be a good day this week. But anyway,
Okay.
McDonald can take him, Mr. Fields can take him, Mr. Moore can take him, We really don't need nobody to take you, really,
That's what he said.
We're not.
Well, I don't want to trip and fall.
If you had the energy to walk from one hall to the next, you won't trip and fall.
I'll get Mr. Fields to show me around, then he can offer a song while we.
Yeah.
Well, I've been over there since we went. And the way you have those tables sit up in front of the cafeteria, like at a Starbucks or something, it's really nice.
I think that was one of Miss Diane Bunch's suggestions there, she wanted to set up kind of like a college setting and everything.
Where is that? And in the new school?
Yeah. And we're gonna, we had a mix up on the plans whereby, those will be charging stations.
Okay.
But somehow or another, they
do
put them to the inside and not the outside, but we've already made an adjustment to have the charging station for
That's right.
For the outside.
It's on each table.
Yeah. And also the library, you'll have a charging station.
Mm-hmm. It's on each table.
And I know that's one thing we criticize about, but, cell phones are well like now, whether you like it or don't like it, even with us. If you leave to go somewhere and get to the corner and find out you ain't your cell phone, what you do?
I gotta turn around.
Yeah.
Me too.
And you gotta remember, these children was raised up with computers and technology. That's all they know. I was asking my grandson not long ago, I said, do your mother have to sign your test papers? Kind of look back and say, Papa T, what you talking about? We do everything on computer. It's just the way of life. But anytime, I'm over about 2 or 3 times. I don't go as much. I can go about 2 times a day now. But they
I go.
Right. The only thing they got, they put up the canopy on one side, but the canopy that's on the school side is the same canopy that's on the other side. And you have a canopy coming to the front, and you have an overhang back at the gym area there by the entry point there.
You don't have any kind of information you want to share on the other projects that we've kind of brought, that you haven't been able to get information on the School of Performing Arts?
The big piece is the School of Performing Arts, you asked us to find some way for you to visit first,
Right.
So we were kind of working on that.
Okay.
Also on I think that overall we will be able to start band in 5th grade this year, I think. With all the 3 elementary schools, what we talking about? I think like Lawrence might have had 41. What did Morgantown have since you got there?
It's about 53.
53. So we might end up with at least 125 or 30 students maybe in a beginner's band in the middle school level, in the elementary level. So you figure if you have a 10 or 20% attrition rate with all those, by the time you get to the high school, you should still have a real good number of students that's in marching band. And I think we're going to use the same concept, correct me if I'm wrong, with choir we use in band, to go back and let Mr. Hill start choir in junior high so we can kind of build his numbers. People who like to sing, they don't just start singing in 9th grade.
Right.
If you can't sing like me, you need to start as early as you can. Everybody not get like with feet.
Mr. Butcher.
Yeah.
Mr. James, members of the board, I do have a draft. It has draft on there. Invitations and programs. And Mr. James, if you would, you ought to take these drafts and mark on, but appoint those 2 members that you appointed for the convocation committee to this ribbon cutting committee, and we can, meet, 'cause I think we did a great job together. I appreciate you
Just wanna eat.
pointing those people, and we can,
He want lunch.
Yeah, I know. I figured it out when you said that.
What's this
before.
gonna be? Another cupcake?
No.
You know,
Ribbon.
Oh, he's already drafted something.
don't need to make any comments, just give your comments to those two,
Okay.
committee members, and we'll get together real soon, around the noon hour.
I don't, let me just say this, and I appreciate this, but I think this needs to be, until we can finalize it, I don't know if you need to, that just, whatever it is,
This is program.
I know, that's what I'm saying.
Oh, that's just in your hands, your eyes only.
Okay, all right.
good. All right, that's it.
Yes, that's all I have.
School board 9.4, school board reports, Dr. Robert.
I just wanna tell you all to have a safe summer. And we look forward to you all coming back in the fall. And we're going to strive for that A school district. So, you all have a safe summer, and thank you for all that you've done for the district.
No, nothing, sir.
I don't know if I said this before, but I was so impressed with both of our graduation ceremonies, the 8th grade graduation and thinking of the band and the progress. And I was proud of those band members that played Pomp and Circumstance. And it was just nice moments that we had in both graduations. And I'm just proud of our students and what they've accomplished. Because they've had a tough time, you know, when the 8th graders stood up there and talked about that they had to go through COVID since the 5th grade, it was moving. They know that they're resilient, and I think that's a credit to the district, that we've helped them all the way from the 5th grade to the 8th grade, really, you know, into adulthood almost. And they've learned so much by experiencing what was tragic in any other circumstances, but I didn't really realize how forming that experience was for our students. And so I'm proud of them and their resilience.
Okay.
And not only the students, but teachers and administrators as well, because you all had to go through that COVID experience, and then you had to learn how to transition and make it work for us, which made us go from a failing school to a very productive school.
That's right.
And we will probably see that prayerfully by the end of this summer. So I just want to thank you all for doing what you're supposed to do.
And parents.
And excel. And the parents.
And grandparents.
So the parents had to learn how to teach y'all over again.
It was hard.
That's all I have to say.
Members of the board, and to everyone that's here, and to the staff of the Natchez-Adams School District, all staff members. This is my last official board meeting as superintendent. I want to thank you for the challenges, thank you for the lessons learned, but most of all, thank you for the support. I'm quite sure I've had to disagree with everybody in the room at one time or the other.
Yes, sir.
Well,
Amen.
we're gonna pass the collection plate in a minute, okay? But any good organization will have challenges and disagreements.
Yeah.
If everybody is on the same page all the time, you are as far as you're gonna make it.
That's right.
But the most important thing is keeping the lines of communication open all the time, and always take the time to listen to someone else. They might have a better idea than you
That's
have.
right.
Okay? But I want to thank God for the opportunity of working for 53 years. You know, I've been able to retire 4 times. That's why I told Ms. Davis, I told Ms. McDonald, I told Elaine and Mr. Fields, I didn't even have no kind of retirement thing, but again, you weren't out as board member. Thank you so very much.
Mr. Butcher, We're gonna have 2 more special call meetings before you leave.
Really now. I say really meeting.
That's it. Just thank everybody for coming out and that you continue to support us, that we support you all. Just thank you. Okay?
I'll offer motion, we have a closed determination.
Second.
Been moving second, all in favor? Then close determination.
I'll offer motion, we go into executive session to discuss